Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome to today's Gurbani Vichar session. In today's topic, we'll continue our discussion on Rehraas Bani, which is there in Shri Guru Granth Sahib Ji. Before we start this session, let us turn our mind inwards and do ardas to Vaheguru to make us capable to understand the Gurbani which has been bestowed on us by our Sadgurus. And before we start the session, we'll recite shlok from Guru Granth Sahib Ji. Aad Kure Namhe, Jugaad Kure Namhe, Sat Kure Namhe, Shri Gurudev He Namhe. Dindot Bandan Anik Bar, Sarab Kala Samrat, Dolan Te Rakho Prabhu, Nanak Dekar Hat. So let us continue. I think we have done so far from Shri Guru Granth Sahib Ji. There's a Bani, Sodar Bani, which starts at Ang 8, page 8 of Shri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, which is also was later named as Rehraas Bani. It's not in Guru Granth Sahib Ji, it's not called say Rehraas Bani, but in our Maryada for doing the Nitnem Banis, the evening Nitnem Bani is called, given a title Rehraas. And in that Bani, we have done so far 7 Shabads. We have done completed 7 Shabads. Today we'll continue from page Ang 12 of Shri Guru Granth Sahib Ji. This is a Shabad which comes on Ang 12. We'll resume from there for that Bani. It has a title Asa Mahalla Pehla. So it's in Asa Rag, which is actually a 4th in the order, sequential order of, we said, 31 rags, the Bani. All Gurbani is classified in Guru Granth Sahib Ji in under 31 main rags, and they have other rag forms in there. And every Shabad has a title of the rag. So there's an emphasis and re-emphasis from why Sadguruji's for reciting. When we sing these, they should be, there's a prescribed notes to be used to sing these. Here it is in Asa. Whatever is the form, sroop, we call the nature of that Asa Rag, we have to follow those notes to sing when we have to sing this. Then it says Mahalla Pehla, first Guru Nanak Dev Ji. It says, Tit sarvare paile nivasa pani pavak tinhe kiya. You can read this along, this Rehraas Bani whenever it comes. It's written here in the Roman script as well as the Punjabi, the Gurmukhi script. Tit sarvare paile nivasa pani pavak tinhe kiya. Pankaj moh pag nahi chale. Hum dekha teh dubiyale. And then there's number 1 there, which means this is a first verse, first antra, first pada in Punjabi, which is the stanza of this Shabad. Tit sarvare is that pool, the sarovar pool. It's more of your tit sarvare, your whirlpool, this sansar rupi sarovar, this pool of this world which is there. Paile nivasa. We are residing there. Nivasa, our nivas is there. It's Paile nivasa, pani, pavak, tinike. And we are residing there in this whirlpool of yours. There's water there and there's fire there, which you have done. Tinhe kiya, you have done it. It's this kind of literal meanings itself. As you start to understand the literal meanings, you can internally kind of start to contemplate the message which Sadhguruji is trying to tell you too. It says the way it's translated here. It says we reside at that whirlpool where that Vaheguru, that God has created pleasure and pain. Although here it says it's a pani pavak, there is, and then in Punjabi it's actually also translating as agte pani, it's translating as sukh dukh, the sufferings and the peace and the pleasure, so it's Basically, Sadhguru Nanak is just telling us that, hey, in this world where we are, there is this water and the fire, right? All these elements are there. This is where we are as humans. Then what's next? What happens to us? Pankaj moh pag nahi chale. Pankaj is that muddy puddle, is chikkad also in Punjabi. Pankaj is the muddy puddle, right? He says moha is that attachment to moha is attachment. Yeah, that's a little bit here. It emphasizes the attachment to the Maya. Pag nahi chale, feet cannot walk. Nahi chale. It says Pankaj moho pag nahi chale. Our feet are stuck in that chikkar, that mud of worldly attachment. They cannot move forward. Our feet are stuck. We are stuck in that worldly attachment. Spiritually, we are not making any progress. The purpose of our life, which Gurbani tells us, to merge and realize that God, it's not happening. We are stuck. It's like our feet are stuck in that mud. Hum dekha teh doobiye le. He says, I'm watching, I'm seeing. Dekha teh doobiye le. All of them are drowning in this swamp. And that's what the first stanza here is saying. It says, we are residing in this whirlpool which Vaheguru himself has created, where there's water and fire, there's a pleasure and there's sukh, and there's a dukh, there's suffering, right? Pankaj moh pag nahi chale, we are stuck in this worldly, our feet cannot move forward in the right direction. I'm seeing all of them drowning. This drowning and whirlpool comes a lot, right? The world ocean and tarna, swim across that world ocean, comes a lot in Gurbani. In many, whenever there's a messaging happening from that enlightened beings to the normal beings, they have to use this, right? So it's tell the mind to think, to be able to internalize, to visualize what is that state to achieve and what's happening. This whole, if we talk about energy fields, right? We are there. If you think about, there's energy field which is high up there of the Vaheguru, that Naam energy field which is there, and there's us having our energy field, and we are so much from Janam. This is Karam and all. We have that waves around us. We are totally, it says drowning in them. There's no way for us to cut through it and touch that. That's all what it is saying in this way, right? So here it's giving an example of feet in the mud, cannot move. This is what's our status. In this slide, man ek na chetas moor mana. Let's recite this whole thing first, right? The whole Shabad on this slide. You can recite along. Man ek na chetas moor mana, har bisrat tere gun galya rahao. नाहो जति सती नहीं पढ़या, मूरख मुग्धा जन्म भया, प्रणवत नानक तिनकी सरना, जिंतु नाही विसरया. So that's first two lines are the Rahao lines, right? Pause, think about that. That's the main essence of the Shabad. Man ek na chetas moor mana. Oh my mind, man. Ek na chetas. Chetas is remembering. Moor is foolish. Oh my mind. Mana is just telling the mind. So what is, oh my mind, you have not remembered that one. Moor mana, oh foolish mind. Har bisrat tere gun galya rahao. Says, do you realize? Har bisrat, har is for that Vaheguru, Hari. Bisrat, by forgetting. Tere gun galya. All your virtues are rot away, it says here. You're becoming rotten. All the virtues, the goodness you had is gone. It's gone. It's getting spoiled. What is it pointing at? What is it trying to tell us? It says, because you're not connected to that Vaheguru, you've forgotten. You haven't even tried to connect to that light inside you. All the qualities and the virtues you had with which you were born as a human are becoming rotten. You're losing them. As a child, there's this saying, human is born enlightened. When you're born, you are enlightened. You are there. There's an instant when you're all connected, and slowly that all goes away. You are operating in, there's no home. You're operating in that will of God. How you get fed a baby, and I talk about that, a baby and the mother, the connection. How everything is operating in that time when you're a little baby to a child. How everything is operating in their hukum. How close you are with Vaheguru. How present you are in the moment. How many virtues you have about that connection to that Vaheguru, which you unknowingly you don't know, but you have them. You have more intuition. Even there's so much more, which is their connection to the nature for the babies and the child. They operate like some of them they operate under Pura Brahm. They are not Brahm Jnani, they don't have a knowledge, but mostly they're operating until they start getting affected by, right? The world is all so pure for them. And, in some of them, they say, oh yeah, where there's a little baby, little child, that's where the God is, right? So that's kind of, it says there's virtues inside you as a human born. You just get rotten, you forget. Instead of making your mind enlightened, he says through mind you understand them and you enlighten and you get connected to the Vaheguru. You realize through that body, that connection, that one. You become aware, you connect, your awareness become one with that awareness which is there. Instead of going towards that path, you lose it completely. Your virtues rot away. That's what it's telling us. Naho jati sati nahi padya, murakh mugda janam pya. Naho, me, I didn't, jati sati nahi padya, I didn't contemplate, think, didn't get educated about jati sati. The truth, the jati is when you're able to control, you have an ability to control all your senses. The sense to operate, sense of perception, the sense of action, right? There's those 10 senses written, the 5 for perception, 5 for action. You have this body and your organs to do that, right? So it says, I don't know anything about how to control, how to do that control, be a jati, be a sati, how to be truthful. I don't even know what is truth. Truth in terms of who is that, what am I doing is in accordance with that Vaheguru, without home. When I'm being the instrument of Vaheguru, when I'm acting like a sati as a truthful, I'm uneducated in all of that spiritual knowledge, totally uneducated. Murak, I'm foolish, mugdha, janampya, ignorant. My life is full of that. My life is full of foolishness and ignorance. That's the life, janam bhayad, that's the life which I'm being in, which I've created for myself. Pranvat Nanak tinki sarana jintu nahi visarya. He says, I pray to you. Benti, Pranvat, benti karta ha. Oh Nanak, I pray to you. Tinki sarana, put me in the sanctuary of those, in the company of those. Jintu nahi visarya. Those who have not forgotten you, who are with you already, who are connected with you already. Right? As a baby child who is born is connected, then it comes across those who are not. It goes totally, does have no understanding. We are so fortunate as Sikhs, we have this Bani. It just tells us which cannot be told. We already in that realm of spirituality, just by reading it and contemplating and think, just by reading and understanding the literal meanings of this, we are already there and we don't realize it. Just put me in the company of those who have not forgotten you. Right? That's so important. Otherwise, I'm going to lose the worth of my whole life. Right? I will never realize. I'll keep coming. And what happens to those who never realize? They, it says that news of death, they are in that messenger of death control. Right? So keep coming and going. Right? So then it says two, and then this is the third Shabad for this. It had a Rahau line, and that's where this Shabad ends. Right? So then there's the next Shabad which starts, it says, Pai Prapat Manak De Hariya Gobind Milan Ki E Teri Barya Avar Kaj Tere Kite Na Kam Mil Saath Sangat Paj Keval Naam Saranjam Lag Pavjal Taran Ke Janam Britha Jat Rang Maya Ke Rahau. So we have come across this Shabad also, I think, in one of the previous sessions. It says, Pai Prapat Manak De Hariya. Again, that's the emphasizing Pai. We obtain Prapat Manak De Hariya. This human body has been given to you. Gobind Milan Ki Eh Teri Bariya. Gobind is that Vaheguru, that God, that Malak. Milan Ki, to meet with him. Eh Teri Bariya, this is the chance, this is your bari, this is your turn. This is your turn to meet with that Vaheguru. So I think we've discussed this in one of the previous sessions about how Bani is keep re-emphasizing also that the human birth, the human form is one of the most highest level of any other beings, beings out there. And human form is given. That's the only form which is capable of realization and of meeting with Vaheguru. And then there's so much emphasis about singing in Gurbani, right? So much connection. Human is the only one who can sing. Right? Who else can sing? Right? It's sing. So again and again, it says this deha, this human body is very important for you to connect to that Vaheguru. There was this verse about Jo Brahmande Sui Pinde, whatever is in the universe is inside you also. And there's all this about Antartyan, find it inside. That portal is inside you to connect to everything. So that's what these two lines, and it's again re-emphasizes, this is your chance to meet with Vaheguru. This is our kaj tere kite na kam, our other kaj, other efforts, tasks. Kaj is tasks you do. Tere, yours kite na kam, it's of no use. It's going to be kite, they won't be of any use to you anywhere. Nothing else will give you any gain. Kaj tere kite na kam. Mil saas sangat bhaj keval naam. It says, go meet with saas sangat bhaj keval naam. And recite, chant only naam. Find out that company of holy congregation, those God-minded, God-oriented people who are already on that path. Go do the company of such beings and recite Naam with them. And as you do that, you will have the realization. And as people do that, they find there's paths, there's levels to it. They find themselves more and more connected. Their intuition, their glimpse, right? Small things people give examples of, right? So their priorities of life change, right? So the changes keep happening. The nature, as I say, is everybody's there to help enlighten this mind, because everything else enlightens with you as you are connected to this universe, to everything around you. Everybody wants you to be, that whole universe wants you to be enlightened. It will enlighten with you, right? Saranjam lag pavjal taran ke, janam britha jat rang maya ke. Then it says, Saranjam, do some effort, make some efforts. Lag, do it. Some efforts, do some. Lag pavjal taran ke. Pav is the sansar, this world. Jal is the water, this, again, the world ocean, right? That's what it says. The world ocean is what it's called. Taran ke. Start making efforts to swim across this terrifying world ocean. And we've discussed this many times. The terrifying world ocean is, for us, it's telling us as a human that, there's something where your inner self, there's this light which you have to go connect to, the source which you have to connect to, you have to swim across. It's also like, there is there's so many examples in Bani, and we'll come across those. But again, it's you swim across this worldly ocean, this worldly attachments, go to the other side of it in this life itself. And then it says, oh, there are this world and the other world, and when you die, you go to other world, right? Or you keep coming into the cycle, right? So it's basically emphasizing that in this life itself, go find that, right? Understand that, go swim across. Or also important, even if not, at least become capable that at death you swim across. That also is very important. So then it says, Janam Britha Jat Rang Maya Ke Rahao. This life is getting Britha, wasted in the colors of this Maya, Rang Maya Ke, in the attachment to this worldly Maya. Then Rahao, it says, pause, think about it. Saranjam lag pavjal taran ke, janam britha jat rang maya ke. Think about it, that your life is totally getting wasted in this worldly attachment. You are not paying attention to your inner light, to your inner source. Start making efforts so you are going towards the realization. Then it says, Jab tap sanjam taram na kamaya, seva sadhna janya haraya, kaho nanak hum neech karama, saran pare ki rakho sarma. Then it's kind of acknowledging that I haven't done all of these deeds which will help me take to the right path. What deeds am I doing are lowly deeds. And it prays, O Vahikaru, please take me into my sanctuary, into your protection, into your sanctuary. It says, Jab tap sanjam taram na kamaya. Again, that same self-restraint, that controlling your senses, right? That self-discipline, tap, that self-restraint, the discipline, sanjam, right? That I have done none of that. To be able to control myself. Dharam, to live the righteous living. I have not earned any of those. Seva sadhna janya haraya. I haven't done. Seva sadh is serving the holy people who are connected. In a way, it's saying also you're accompanying them. You're learning from them. I have not done it. Seva sadhna janya, I haven't learned to do it. And I haven't, na janya har raya, that king god which is there, that har raya, I failed to realize that God. It's important. The company of the holy is so important. Sadh, saints, and when you are doing a company of Gurbani and contemplating, that itself is a company of holy. Right? That's also what it is. You're doing company of your own self. Kaho Nanak hum neech krama saran pade ki rakho sarma. Oh Nanak, such my deeds are so bad, so lowly. Any deed I do in that other direction, not in connection with Vaheguru, are which is going to keep piling on my karmas, to keep coming back to this cycle of birth and death. So saran pare ki rakho sarna. Then in the end there is there's a beinti, there's a request. Oh Vaheguru, I'm coming to your protection, your sanctuary, your saran. Please rakho sarma, please preserve my honor. Right? In before says, I'm ignorant, I don't know, I don't understand. Help me understand. And then throughout Bani, Sadhguruji's keep telling you how. Right? So this is actually where, so that's the end of this Shabad. And this is where actually the Sodar Bani ends on Ang 12 in Shri Guru Granth Sahib Ji. Right? So we'll kind of go over the Bani which comes after this is called Sohela. And it's also in Guru Granth Sahib is called Sohela. It's Kirtan Sohela in our Panchbaniya, Nitnem and Panchbaniya, which is done in the night time before sleeping, and this Rehraas Bani is for the evening time. So let us kind of summarize on the Rehraas Bani. What is it we have learned, which was their Sodar Bani, and Rehraas Bani, which comes in Pothi Sahib in Gutka, is more than it. There is a Kabyobash Beinti Chaupai. There's a Guru Nan, the 10th Pasha, Guru Gobind Singh Ji Bani, Dasam Pasha, and then there is also a Ramkali Anand Sahib in Ramkali Rag, and there's few other Shabads there to complete that for our evening Nitnem. But this is what we are going to look at based on what was there in the Shri Guru Granth Sahib Ji, and then we'll continue from there. So starting from 8 to 12, there are 9 of these Shabads we looked at. We started with the first Shabad, which was by Mahalla Pehla. So there are first 3 Shabads by Mahalla Pehla by Guru Nanak Dev Ji, which is in Asa Rag. There's the 4th Shabad, which is by Mahalla Chautha Guru Ram Das Ji in Gujri Rag. So there's the 5th Shabad, which is by Mahalla Panjma Guru Arjan Dev Ji in Gujri Rag. There's then again 6th Shabad, which is in Asa Rag by Mahalla Chautha by Guru Ram Das Ji. Then there is a Ragasa Sopurak Bani by Guru Ram Das Ji. Then there's again what we went through today, went over today is by Guru Nanak Dev Ji Mahalla Pehla, and then there's the last one which is by Mahalla Panjma again, which ends at Janam Britha Jat Rang Maya Ke Raha Jamlak, right? So this slide covers all the Shabads which are there, which we have looked at so far. There is total 9 Shabads which is there in Guru Granth Sahib Ji, starting from Ang 8 to Ang 12, which is under Sodar Bani. There's the first Shabad which is from Mahalla Pehla, Sodar Ragasa Mahalla Pehla, and which tells us about that abode, that home of Sadguru, of Vaheguru. The Sadguru is telling us that home of Vaheguru. It tells us about all the Naad. It's mostly about the singing of the praises of Vaheguru by those Bhagats, those devotees were acceptable to him, right? So it gives us a glimpse of that abode of Vaheguru. Then in the next one, it is by Mahalla Pehla by Guru Nanak Dev Ji. It starts with Sun Vada Akhi Sab Koe, Kevar Vada Dita Hai. It's telling us about how big is that. It's beyond our understanding, right? And then it still tries to use the words to give our mind the glimpse of so that we are getting closer to that source, to that one divine through this Bani, Guruji is giving us. And then from after the second Shabad, the third Shabad again is by Guru Nanak Dev Ji, where Guru Nanak, it's the story with the Saki, which is there attached to it, is Guru Nanak Dev Ji is answering to his mother about, hey, how can I forget that great being, the Naam of that great being. It's the emphasis about how important is the Naam, the Sacha Naam of that Vaheguru. Then there's a Bani by Guru Ram Das Ji, which is a request to the Satguru. It says, hey, give me that Naam, enlighten me with that Naam. It followed by, there's the next Shabad, which is in Rag Gujri by Mahalla Panchma. It says Rag Gujri Mahalla Panchma, title Guru Arjan Dev Ji. It's telling our mind, hey, why are you worried? Know that Vaheguru is sustaining everything, is maintaining, it's taking care. Sal pathar mein jan to paye, taka rijak aage karta raya. Even and to the stones and the rocks is taking, there's even the living beings there who have been taken care of, right? Your rijak, your sustenance is all, don't spoil this beautiful birth trying to worry about things, It says then in Asa Malla Chautha, again, Bani by Guru Ram Das Ji, he's telling us again that tu karta sachar menda sai, jo tu pai soi thisi, jo tu de soi hu pai. He says again, it's more about that great giver who's giving us everything, that Satyar, that true great giver, Meda Sai, that so then it goes to Sopurak Bani, the Raga Samalla Chotha. Sopurak, it describes more about, enlightens us more about that Sopurak Niranjan, that immaculate Vaheguru, that immaculate one being. And then there is this last two Shabads we went over today by Guru Nanak Dev Ji, Asa Malla Pehla, it says Tit Sarvaya Pehla Nivasa Pani Pavakti Nikya, tells us where we are, tells us what this world and the need for us to come across, to go to the other side, towards the liberation. And then it tells in the end, there is just a prayer to Vaheguru to put me in the company of those with whom I can swim across and I can realize you. Since with that, I think we'll complete this session for today. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.